Hello, hello. How is it going, everybody? Good to see so many of you already in the chat. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Let me just make sure that this is all good to go. Hello, Falcon. Call me Mimo. Hello, how's it going? Crochet Lover, happy to have you here today. Capybara, good to see you. How's it going today? Shiny Vulpix, happy to have you here today. Kaises was waiting for 2 hours. Well, hopefully you were productive during that time. Make sure to unmute if you can't hear me, which I guess falls on, I guess you can't hear that. Sup, Lake Sharks. Bathuska, good to see you. How's it going? Happy to have you here today. Thank you everyone for being here today. Sorry about last week. That was unfortunate timing for sure. I'm all good now. I just I had a dental emergency, which is kind of a shame because I am in no better spot than I was before I went. So yeah, hate to see it. Everyone should be able to hear me, I hope. Oh, Mimo, this is your first Ribblr show. Hello, welcome. My name is Vincent. It's good to see so many of you. I'll be your host today for the Ribblr show. Some of you might know me as Not Bad on the internet, but my name is Vincent when you see me on the Ribblr page. You are not late at all. You were here right on time. Hope you're better. Yeah, I'm better. I need to apologize. I was unfortunate for sure. Sounds like the voice is coming through. Hello on YouTube to Miss Jasmine 3366. How's it going today? Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for the kind words. Happy to have you here today as well, Crochet Lover. Hello, Lady Freeran. Good to see you. Bye, Guadalupe. Talk to you later. We'll be streaming a lot next week, so you'll be able to definitely catch me. But yeah, so today's going to be a tiny bit different. We do have a fun interview today, but we're actually going to be doing the interview kind of like first and foremost, and then we'll do like all the fun giveaways and looking at the site and stuff. So the interview does take way at 12:15, so about 10 minutes from now. You've been waiting since 8 a.m. Well, hopefully it's worth it for you. We are going to be doing an interview with an awesome author. We have been doing our weekly challenge or our monthly challenge with them. So for all you book avid readers, this is a fun way to show off your expertise in the book world. Kaises, you keep refreshing the page and nothing changes. You might want to try YouTube then. What I'm doing for this month's challenge is taking forever. Oh no. Well, it is the Claws and Crochet March challenge. So we are going to be working with an author who wrote a fun book that has to do with crochet, and we're going to be learning about them as an author as well as the book itself. So pretty exciting. I hope everyone's been well for the past few weeks. We haven't seen each other. It's been a busy one for me with work, and I also I did, for those of you who are in the chat a few weeks ago, you may have known I was going to a big Pokemon tournament, and I did do well. I got 72nd place out of 2,300 people, so it was pretty cool. And my my crew that I went with also did really well as well. So yeah, overall a good time. What time is it there? It is 12:05 at the moment, PST. What is your favorite anime? I've seen a lot. It's hard to say my exact favorite one, but I'd be down to rewatch Attack on Titan. I've got so much burnout. I'm so sad because I really need to stock up for a market. Sometimes you just need to push through, unfortunately, especially if you sign up for a market. Thank you, Vulpix. And yeah, and now we are feeding into the Pokemon craze with Pokopia. Hope everyone's enjoying the game if you are playing. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on by. Happy to have you here today in the chat. I hope you are well. It's morning here, but it's really coming down here with the rain. That's how it's been over here in Portland, Oregon as well. Hello, Ribblr. Good to see you. Happy to have you in the chat today. I hope you're doing well. Love the new postcard, which we will be going over a bit today. Oh my gosh, I feel kind of like congested, so don't mind me. This is the only thing I had planned today. Hopefully you have crafts in hand. We are going to be doing an interview, so this is a great time if you have a crochet or a knitting pattern. Is a great time to have it in hand while you take a listen, as that will be the bulk of today's show. Oh, I might need to sneeze. Ugh. Still in your pajamas. I had to get up and shower and put my makeup on today, so no pajamas for me. For everyone here, so let's go over some of the stuff. So if you have the time today, we do have a fun, it is Friday, so we do have our Freebie Friday offering going on today. So pretty exciting there. It's the awesome two-headed bunny pattern. So I'm going to be leaving that in the chat that during the show, if you want to go grab that quickly, you're more than welcome to. You can find that in the chat with the link on both YouTube and on the Ribblr chat. So feel free to go grab that. An awesome designer and a really cool pattern. Having it 2-in-1. What better thing to do than lay in bed and crochet for 9? That is a perfect day if you ask me. Hello, K Crochet. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Hello, Spring. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming today and making it to your first Ribblr show. Happy to have you here today. All the more the merrier. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. A lot of tattoo deals out there if you are someone looking to get inked. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, I am going to give me just 20 seconds and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just had to sneeze and blow my nose. What would you make for a market? Probably really simple things. Oh no, the wind just blew my yarn away. Oh no. So I'm sorry if I missed any messages doing that. Of course, the allergies are here and they are alive and well. So make sure you do grab your Freebie Friday. The interview does start in 5 minutes and we are going to be having a chance to win a gem. So during the show, make sure you are respectful and kind. But if you have any questions and we see engagement, you do automatically qualify to enter for a chance to win a gem at the end of the show. No, I don't have a cold. I just, yeah, I don't know what's going on. So make sure that you are kind of respectful. We appreciate having all of you here today. And make sure you are checking out the challenge. Has anyone in the chat already submitted their challenge submission? And by the challenge, here is what we're looking at. So we have the Claws and Crochet challenge going on right now. There's a lot of overlap when it comes to the crafts and being able to read. We actually, Ribbit just posted asking what everyone's favorite books were, and there were like over 600 of you who let us know. So it was really cool. What's going on? I don't have YouTube. You don't need YouTube to be here? Oh. So we do have this fun challenge that is inspired by our artist today, or our author. The entries do close April 5th, so you do have some time to enter, but Lauren Connolly has been so kind to also be offering, you can win a digital version of the book. Oh, actually, it's a signed copy. Never mind. It is a physical. Your brain's not working, and everyone gets a gem who wins. So there have been some pretty cool submissions. So if you come here, you can actually see what people have submitted. So already 25 submissions here. So these are just things that you can. Oh, let's go over here. These are just things that are kind of like inspired by like this book or other literature that you may have read, or even items such as like bookmarks and stuff that have to do with any of the book stuff. So you can find all the details here. I'm going to leave the link in the chat, so on YouTube and on Ribblr. So feel free to check that out. And it's a pretty fun challenge. Like I said, we're only halfway through the month, so it is a good time. Vince, will you do this month's challenge? This is me participating in this month's challenge, is interviewing our author. So time is coming up on it. Oh, I take so long to start and continue doing projects. Yeah, I'm a slow crocheter myself. How do you pick winners for the monthly challenge? You'll be able to go and check out the likes on the submissions, and then I think the most top liked one will win. And it looks like Ribbit will also be picking his favorites as well, so kind of a selection of them. Currently making another 6-day star blanket. Nice, nice. So our interview does start here shortly, so let me do a quick intro to who we are interviewing today. So we have this amazing author, Lauren Connolly, who is going to be here today. They've written a couple of other books in the past, but we do have the one that we're all kind of like eager to learn about, and that is going to be the Claws Crochet. So excited to kind of hear the inspiration behind it and what that's all about. I mean, crochet is definitely, I mean, it's popular, but it's definitely a niche thing for an author to be writing about. So we're excited to see kind of how they came to be with that, learn about their artistry with their writing, and see if they indulge in the crafts as well. So excited to be speaking with them. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat and perhaps we can get to it. Their blurb is that Lauren Connolly is an award-winning author of contemporary and magic romance stories. So for all of you who do have an overlap that you do like to listen to audiobooks or read as well, if romance is up your alley, then this is the interview for you. And we're excited to hopefully introduce you to an author that you can indulge into all their books. So it'll be a fun one for sure. She's lived amongst mountains, next to lakes, and in imaginary worlds. Lauren can never seem to stay in one place for too long, but trust that wherever she's residing, there is a dog who thinks he's a troll, twin cats hiding in the couch, and bookshelves bursting with stories written by the authors she loves. So really, really cool. Guadalupe, you might want to just reset or refresh. All right, bye, Kaizis. Good to see you. So we have one more minute and we'll jump right on into it. So thank you everyone for being so respectful. How will we get the book? For the winner of it, I believe it will be sent off to you. And I think that this is also a digital option as well. So, and Lexi's, it's a good question. We will be asking them in real time. All right, so let us jump right into the interview, and then we'll do all of the other stuff that all of you have come to know about the Ribblr show afterwards. So I'll see you in a bit, and enjoy the interview. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, and it looks like it's coming
Mm.
through perfectly. So, thank you so much for being here today. And so sorry we couldn't have you on last week. That was like totally my apologies. So,
No
appreciate your
problem. I'm
flexibility.
excited.
Yes, excited to have you. So, for everyone in the chat, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and giving any tidbits about yourself that people you would like people to know about.
Sure. So, hi, everyone. I am Lauren Connolly. I am an author. Specifically, I'm a romance author. I like to write both magical and contemporary romances. And a lot of times with my books, I will pluck details from my actual life. And so that's kind of how Claws and Crochet came about, because I would say I'm an amateur crafter and I like to try out a bunch of different hobbies. And so when I was thinking of ideas for a new book, I was learning crochet at the time. And
Oh.
so that was one of the original seeds of this book.
Oh, that's so awesome. And it's so great that we like get to have you on for this month's challenge to we always look for ways to kind of inspire our our creatives. A lot of creatives are all in which different ways, so it's good to have a hyper focus and it's awesome to kind of have you on board. You're like the first author we've ever had on the site. So thank you for being part of Ribbler's history.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to start this off. But I do know that there is a lot of crossover between the author and reader world and the fibercraft world. So I would not be
Yeah.
surprised if there's a lot of mixing of those audiences.
Yeah, definitely. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to get you on board is we've been actually looking for an author to kind of like bridge that gap. And your new book that came out was like the perfect recipe for it. So it's so awesome. I would love to dive in about your writing history first, and then we can go into the crafts. So how long have you been, well, how many books do you have out on the shelves was my first question.
So I just crossed the 30 threshold. So
30?
I, yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm what's called a hybrid author. So I both self-publish and I publish books with large publishers. And so large publishers they're a little bit slower. They like to kind of maybe do one book a year, but I write a bit faster than that. So
Mm.
I put out multiple books a year because I started publishing self-publishing in 2018. And so yeah, since then I've gotten about 30 books out.
30 books out since 2018. So 8 years and they're like you're doing more than a book a year. That is
Yeah.
wow. Okay. There's a lot of crafters we have in the chat who can bust out projects like no other and find that flow. So for you, are you just like always in a constant state of like creative flow, or how do you find yourself being able to write so many things?
So I do feel like my brain is constantly making up stories. So whenever I kind of when I just have a moment to chill in my own mind, it starts creating different narratives. Some become books, some never see the light of day. But especially, I would say when I was taking my dog on really long walks, that was a lot of plotting time there.
Mm.
So yeah, and then just watching TV shows, watching movies, reading other books. Those were always very inspirational, and sometimes there would be like a side character that I was like, oh, what's their story?
Oh.
So yeah, I would say that creativity is kind of like my natural state. And then I wanted to figure out the best way for me to tell stories, and it was writing them in books. So, yeah.
Man, that must feel so awesome to be able to like have like these like physical and digital just like culminations of your mind. Like you have like a history now.
I do. Yeah, I know. I'm everywhere in the world. People people will like send me books from other countries and I'm like, my influence is spreading.
Yeah, that's amazing. And where are you located now while you're doing all your writing and stuff?
So I recently relocated to North Carolina in the United States. So I'm living kind of in the Appalachian Mountains area.
Oh.
And yeah, I actually like from my office window can see mountains, which is
Oh,
inspirational to have
really?
that nature so close by.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, congratulations on all your successes and being able to churn out so many. I know it's a dream for so many to even write a single book, and you've done laps over that. So, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Uh, so 2018 is when you started writing and publishing. Was there like a lead up to all this in your younger years, or is this like a completely left field thing that, like parents and peers are surprised by, or what's the lead up to all this?
I don't think if anyone in my family knew me, they were not surprised because I
Oh,
was one
really?
of those like take a book to class and read instead of listen to the teacher people. And I went to college. My undergrad degree was in professional writing, but I felt like I got a lot of uh, push from professors to kind of write in like a more literary direction. And I also got this indication that being an author wasn't a full time job. And
Mm,
so I was like, okay, I have to find another career path and then I will write in my free time. And it'll be like a hobby that maybe I'll get a book published one day. So I went into library science and I worked at academic libraries for a few years. But then I
cool.
was seeing like all these authors who were out there doing it, who were doing it full time, who were building their own readerships. They were self publishing and
Hmm.
making careers out of it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's not an easy career to have. You definitely have to put a lot of work into it, but it is something that is achievable. So once like was inspired by these other authors doing it, I was like, okay, I think I can do this too. And that's when I um, really started looking at it also from like a business sense, which is not always something you want to do with a
Right.
hobby. Like some I tell people a lot of times, I'm like, if you are just writing for fun, don't monetize it. Like don't put that pressure on yourself. But I wanted to make money off of it because I want to support myself so I can keep writing books all day. I just don't want to do
Hmm.
any other work other than writing books.
Oh.
And then once I found my genre, which is romance, then the stories like became even easier to write. Not like easy, but I definitely found the niche that I want to be in, and I have this so much joy writing in the romance genre.
Oh, that's so awesome. And did it take a second for you to realize that romance was kind of like up your alley, or did you kind of always like know? Was it that what you were like reading before you started writing, or how did that come to be?
It took me a little bit of time. Yeah, I was when I was growing up, I was reading a lot of fantasy that sometimes would have a romance plot line, and I wouldn't realize that those were my favorites or like that's why they were a favorite. And there's definitely a stigma towards romance in that it's like not as well written or
Mm.
that a book isn't good unless I don't know, everyone's unhappy at the end. And I think there was just a point in time when I was like, I want to know that like as much hell as the characters go through in the book, that in the end there will be a general good feeling, and that's what the romance genre is. And I don't think I realized that for the longest time that like there's only really two rules of the romance genre. It's that the central plot line is based around a love story and that it ends with the characters that were in that love story together. And
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. That's what I want. The genre rules I want to write within. And so yeah, it took me a little bit of time. I think I was in grad school when I started actually reading romance, picking it off the library shelf, getting it in the
Mm.
bookstore. And so yeah, it wasn't all throughout my life, but once I found it, I knew it was where I belonged.
Oh, that's so awesome. And so many people in the chat and our users, like, I'm now that you're like a crafter of sorts, a lot of people are like looking for their like niche or, like their style that they're like wanting to just like gravitate towards. So it's good to hear that you didn't know right away and it took some time of experimenting and stuff. And I think that's a good message for sure that it can take some
Yeah.
time and experimenting. Was there like certain genres that you did experiment with that you just like were like, nah, I'm not about that anymore?
I definitely experimented with some more like darker stuff and just kind of angsty family drama and then I would write it and then I would get to the end and I'd be like I'm in a bad mood and it's because all my characters just suffered for a while and then they didn't get anything like any good payoff in the end. And so yeah, I definitely dove a little bit into the deep dark side, and dark like fantasy too. And again, I wasn't like focusing on. I also think it may have been an indication of me being an early on writer that I wasn't really thinking about how the story would end. I was just kind of experimenting with how the story would go, and then I
Mm.
would uh, it would peter off, and I wasn't finishing all these stories, and it was because I wasn't thinking about them as a whole. I wasn't thinking about how I wanted my stories to end. And when I kind of realized, oh, I want them to end on a positive note, that's where I like realized, okay, you're writing in the wrong direction. You're thinking about the wrong things when you're writing your story.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was lots of experimentation.
I mean, it obviously panned out for you there, and it's awesome that you landed on a certain thing. So I think for a lot of people, they might be interested in the chat, like, since there was like types that you just like couldn't follow through with, but you seem to have a passionate enough about crochet. Would you mind telling us about the Claws and Crochet book and kind of like what readers might come to expect, or a synopsis of the story?
Sure, yeah. So Claws and Crochet, actually, the idea came to me when I had just moved to a Colorado small town, and I didn't know anyone there. I just got a job there, and I was trying to figure out how to meet people. And I saw an ad at the local library for a sip and stitch type thing where you're drinking and you're fiber crafting together. And the
Mm-hmm.
name that of the meeting place was the Billy Goat Saloon. And I was like, that doesn't sound like where I would normally think a crafting club would meet. And so my brain was like, okay, well, what if it actually is a biker bar? And what if you like showed up to this biker bar with your bag full of crafts and there's just a bunch of bikers around you and you're like, hey, did any of you knit or something? And then I was like, what if the bikers are werewolves? So that kind
Of
of
course, of course.
is where the story started. So what you can expect from Claws and Crochet is we've got um, our main character, Zoe, who has just moved to this town temporarily to clean out her grandmother's cabin. And she tends to have kind of hermit tendencies. So she's like, I'm going to go out into the town and I'm going to join this crochet club. And she misreads the flyer and she ends up in the wrong location. And instead of going to meet a bunch of crafters, she ends up among a bunch of biker werewolves. And one of them thinks that she smells particularly nice and he
Okay.
wants to start a flirtation with her. And so you can expect a lot of small town vibes. These biker werewolves, they're not as intimidating as you might expect them to be. I do write open door romances, so just FYI, there's going to be some spicy scenes in it. But I also think that it's kind of a cozy book, and there's a little bit of a mystery going on because you think, oh, someone might not want Zoe sticking around this town. So that's what you can expect from Claws and Crochet.
That is a unique premises there for sure. It's awesome that you combine these like ideas together, and uh, obviously it's like working well. I haven't read it myself yet. I definitely need to. I read the synopsis and I've like gone through it, but I definitely want to sit down. I have a flight soon, so I will be reading it. So I am excited to read it and hear your synopsis and hear your passion behind it. What was the like when I saw that it was about a crochet book, I started skimming through it to see the process. I wanted to ask, like, were you crocheting before you wrote it, or was this like during, or where did crochet fit in like the writing process?
Yeah, so I actually started knitting before I started crocheting,
Mm.
and I wanted to deviate from. I was making a lot of blankets because I can knit a blanket while I'm watching TV. That's something that I can just let my hands do as something goes on the screen. But I wanted to like make things with more dimension than just squares. And I read online that it can be easier or more flexible to crochet. And so I wanted to like make hats because
Mm-hmm.
my brother is a big outdoorsy guy, and I was like, I wanted to make him a gift, and he doesn't need a blanket, but he does need a hat. And
Yeah.
so I was getting into um, crocheting, and I had some really good colleagues that were like, oh, you need hooks, you need yarn. So I was like getting items from people that I worked with. And yeah, so I was just exploring crochet at the time. that I started writing it. And I love alliteration. So Claws and Crochet just kind of flowed off the tongue because I could have made our main character a knitter, but I was like, I was in the crochet zone at the time.
Well, we really appreciate that. I myself am like a crocheter, and when I first saw the title of the book, for some reason I just didn't think of like werewolves at the on the rip. So like when I was going through like the first chapter, it was like really quite the surprise, and to be able to put it all together. What made you want to like you take like kind of like a niche craft, and then you kind of like blend it with something else that's, I guess you could say, like not as traditional. I mean, like there's werewolf stories, but like mixing the two is like not as traditional. What made you feel like, oh, an audience would definitely love this instead of like maybe playing it safe? Like what made you decide to do that?
Yeah, I feel like I was reading and enjoying a few werewolf romances at the time, but in a lot of times what you come across in werewolf romances is that the werewolf will be this kind of big intimidating
Yeah.
alpha personality that's like you're mine, which I'll enjoy those books, but I was like, what if we have a werewolf that is basically a golden retriever type personality where
Hmm.
they just they're a kind person. They want to just, find someone to love. And I really like the juxtaposition of we have this person who is just they've got a bag full of yarn, and then we got all these leather wearing motorcycle riding people. And I like to take kind of a group that may on the outside seem intimidating,
Hmm.
and they are capable of violence if they wanted to, but instead they choose to be like kind and accepting.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's in the same way that the romance genre has a lot of tropes, which
Hmm.
are like kind of story elements that people go back to a lot. And I love tropes. So there's like the you get snowed in together trope, or there's only one bed trope. And so I enjoy in a lot of my books taking those tropes and trying to figure out a way that maybe they haven't been done before. So you're still giving readers something that's slightly familiar, but they get to experience it in a totally new way. And I was like, okay, there are werewolf romances, there's biker romances, and maybe there's even a couple of biker werewolf romances, but I don't think that there are any biker werewolf romances with crafting. So I just wanted to, mix things up and challenge myself too, by seeing how I could mix them all together. Because I often think of plotting out books as like solving a puzzle. And so for
Hmm.
me, I like to kind of give myself interesting elements to solve that puzzle with.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for like such an in-depth answer on that. And I think it is a cool blend, and I think a good thing to like I always like the trope too of kind of like being able to shed the like intimidating exterior with like maybe a more soft interior. I think that's probably important for people to also be able to lean into. So thank you
Yeah.
for what you're doing on kind of a in
It's good
today's
to put more
society.
kindness out in the world.
Yes, yes, I know. Humans are definitely capable of violence, so it's good of you to lean into the not maybe like that part of the human aspect. So thank you for what you're doing, even if it was unintentional.
Yeah.
Uh, so now that you've like written the book and you've gotten your feedback and everything, has like your spark for crochet, has that grown some? Has that gone down some since you've been talking about it so much, or where do you stand with the craft now?
Well, I was going through the entries so far, and I'm really inspired by all the, like, I realized that people crocheted stuffed animals,
Hmm.
and I am like, why have I not tried that before? I would really like to, because I really like plushies, and but I've never tried making my own. And yeah, so I am inspired. I definitely want to check out some patterns on Ribblr and see. I'm definitely going to have to start kind of on the beginner end and see, maybe just like a round one first. I'll make a circle plushie and then move on from there. But yeah, I'm loving seeing. I always just go to kind of like blankets and hats and stuff, and I'm like, no, there's so much more variety. I'd love to try making some clothes too.
Yeah.
I've been working on my just granny squares at this point because I was like, there's so much. They're like building blocks for
Yeah.
different things. So that's what I've been kind of trying to teach myself. And again, I would love if I could get to the point where I can do some things without thinking, because I do like multitasking. So if I
Mm.
could like listen to an audiobook and crochet at the same time, that would be perfect.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I'm glad that it's like inspired you to want to like craft more and stuff. And if you're an author who's written 30 books, I have no doubt that you'd be able to pick up on the rhythm and having your brain and hands be able to do a single thing. So that's awesome that you're feeling that way. Is there, now that you've like written about crafting and stuff, are there other crafts that you're like trying to indulge in the future, or do you feel like you have your repertoire of crafts under your belt, or how are you feeling about that?
Oh, I am constantly picking up new crafts. I recently got a like a watercolor set, so
Oh.
I'm gonna try and do that. I also got a Kobo e-reader, which if any Ribblr people are in Canada, Kobo is like the big ebook reading. And a really cool thing about that tablet is, in addition to being an e-reader, there's also like a notepad. And so I've been trying to like sketch a little bit in between reading things.
Mm.
And so yeah, I think, and I love a quilt. So I would love to quilt one day. I just need space in my apartment to have like a sewing machine. That's the thing. I don't have enough space yet to just create a full craft room. And so
Mm.
I'm very much a like distracted crafter. I pick things up all the time, and sometimes I stick with them, and sometimes I put them down, and then sometimes I just kind of cycle back to them.
Nice, nice. And do you think you'll find yourself maybe like incorporating more like the craft elements into future like writings of yours?
Oh yeah, I would love to. I actually, the second book after Claws and Crochet is Growls and Greeting Cards, and so we're gonna have a
Oh.
main character who likes to craft her own greeting cards. And I think that any future books that I write in this series, you're gonna have a character that is doing some kind of crafting. And actually,
Nice.
one of the coolest crafts I ever saw someone do that I was considering implementing is I went to a fantasy book convention, and someone was creating chainmail with their
Oh
hands. And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, it's like weaving metal together. So there's so many amazing crafts that like you don't even know about.
Yeah, you can crochet with like chainmail as well, which is like pretty. Yeah, you can crochet like anything, like chainmail, hair, plastic. There's like quite a bit of things you can actually do with it. So that's awesome that you already kind of have like. I feel like I've like learned. I feel like I've like learned something I wasn't supposed to know. So thank you for the inside info.
You're
uh, is that all part of like the same? Is that all like stemming off of like claws and crochet, or is this like a different universe?
It would be existing in the same. So what I like to do is I like to write series of standalone books. So like each book would have their own romance that you get like a happy ending at the end, and then the next book would be focused. It would have the same setting, and but the story would probably be about a side character, and they would become the main character of the book. So you get to follow
Mm.
new characters each time, but the town is familiar, and the places and the people and everything. So that way you can kind of be satisfied with each book, and you can even come into the series at any point. You don't have to start with book one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that gives readers flexibility too, because sometimes they're like, oh, I like the sound of this plot line better than this one, and I'm like, go wherever you want.
Wow. Did you always have like the plan to kind of keep it within like the same, like do like, so if it's like the same universe, are like characters like overlapping, or are there like hints that like if you had read one book that you would like know that the other character was like involved, or?
Yeah. So book two, Growls and Greeting Cards, you have already met both of the, once you've read Claws and Crochet, you've already met the two main characters, and the timeline actually overlaps a little bit. So the second book starts kind of like in the middle, and so it's, yeah, there's definitely overlap. And a lot of times it's even a technique that authors do is they try to like tantalize readers with the next characters, so people just want to binge the series because it's
Mm.
like, oh, did you like that kind of back and forth between those two characters. Oh, where their book is next, so get ready.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love that you're going with these like are these themes for like book 1, book 2. Since you have 30, is like the same universe, is this like a new thing for yourself, or are your past works, have they all been like their own individual, or is this like a new development?
There So I kind of I experiment a lot. I
Yeah.
do lots of different things. So I do have some books that just completely stand on their own. They're their own thing. I do have another paranormal magical series in a made up town in Georgia that
Mm.
has mythical creatures. So there's more than werewolves there. And that was actually inspired because I moved to live on a lake in Georgia for a few years, and I was like,
Oh.
oh, what if there were magical creatures here? I'm always putting magical creatures everywhere that I move. So so yeah, I that series, there's multiple books, and again, each book is its own couple, but you're staying in the same town. And so Claws and Crochet is its own series separate from that, but in Colorado. So yeah, it's something that I sometimes do, but also it can be intimidating to commit yourself to a bunch of books in a series. So sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, let's just do a standalone that lives on its own, and it's nice own little thing.
Yeah, I can imagine that would also help with like the burnout of like having to come up with like pretty much a franchise at that point if it's all one big universe. So, well, thank you
Yeah.
for yeah, thanks for that input. And since you are such a creative, and we have so many creatives like in the chat, and I almost feel like a colleague with you just because I dabble with the creative arts as well. For someone whose mind is always going, who has put out so much work, how or do you have like any advice or tips for other creatives that might be a universal tip that like what do you do for yourself to kind of like avoid burnout and like avoid hating your craft? I know that's like an easy hole to fall down. Like what do you do for yourself to avoid that kind of feeling?
Yeah, so that's definitely a risk. And so I would say for me, one of the biggest things is variety.
Mm,
I do like that's why I write both magical and contemporary. I like to bop back and forth between them. So I would say like varying up what you're doing. If I mean if we've got some entrepreneurs that you're crocheting a particular item that people are all about, giving yourself a break from that once in a while and doing another craft or another pattern, even if you're not going to sell it. Um, I would say that a lot of times there are authors that I know that have gone through burnout,
mm,
and they keep telling themselves, "Oh, I have to finish this manuscript. I can't do anything else until I finish this manuscript." And then they let their hobbies that they were just doing for fun kind of fall by the wayside. And I would say you're not going to be able to finish that manuscript if you're not letting yourself have joy somewhere else.
right.
So it's really good to at least have something in your life that you're not monetizing and that you can go to for like a relief, some joy. And so yeah, a lot of times I will start a new craft and be like, oh, can I tie this to my book marketing in any way? And I'm like, don't do that. Just
Yeah.
let yourself have it, and just let yourself be bad at things a lot of times.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
I mean, my crocheting, I tried to crochet a hat for my brother the first time, and there was like a big hole at the top, and I was like, this is not going to help him retain heat at all. And so, but I was like, that's good practice. Okay, I just, I learned from that experience. So it was the same with writing. I didn't really start writing at a good pace until I let myself start writing badly,
Okay.
because yeah, a lot of writers will get hung up on, oh, I need to write this perfect sentence, or they think that their favorite author came up with that book in just one draft. And no, there's lots of editing that goes on.
Mm,
So I would say, if especially like if you're looking at a pattern or something that intimidates you, I'm do it badly.
yeah.
Like just let yourself get a yarn that you don't care about so much, or get a yarn that you love because it's fun to work with, and then just let yourself experiment with it, because you're not gonna do it perfect the first time or the second time or the fifth time. and it's just good to try it out a bunch.
That is awesome advice. I do also agree that I feel like perfectionism holds a lot of people back from. I think bad art creates good art for sure, and that's awesome that you like feel that way in the author space and you've like seen those examples. So thank you for sharing that insight. I think that's a really important and mature way of looking at like art and creativity. So thank you for
Yeah,
saying
maybe
that.
that would be a good challenge one month, is to have like the biggest fail. Like
There we
show.
go. There we go. Ribblr team's listening. I hope we can jot that down. That is a good. That's actually a really great idea for sure. Yeah, that's actually really good. So for your like bad takes and creativity and like writing, what happens to it? Are you someone who just like doesn't want it to ever exist again? Does it get burned, or do you keep it as a memento, or what happens with all the stuff that you don't like?
Oh yeah, I keep everything somewhere. I mean, in I use what is called Scrivener to type things out, my first draft. So it's a
Mm.
really good word processing tool where you can see all the scenes that you're writing. I really love it. Um, and I create a file that's like deleted words. And so that way I'm not
Oh.
backspacing anything. I just copy and paste it into that part of the document. And so sometimes I do scroll through that and say, oh, actually, I like that sentence. I am going to plug that in somewhere else. So I try not to get rid of anything completely. And, I've got all my old laptops. So if I wanted to delve back into
Oh
my old
wow.
writings, I could. I haven't wanted to yet. And also, I don't know how to charge those laptops anymore, but they exist. So I do think that I, I kind of, the things that don't serve me anymore, I'll let them drift away, but I won't
Hmm.
burn them. I won't eviscerate them from the world. If I ever feel like going back, I can find a way back to them. But I do have so many ideas that I'm always kind of moving forward.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, glad to hear that you still get to like that. That's awesome. You still have all those old laptops. Like that would be maybe in like your retirement days. It'd be fun to go back and
Yeah.
maybe even like cringe at yourself a little bit just to see the human element behind it all. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So from here, like now that you've like done, so is this like the future, like immediate future for you, or do you have other plans in the future, or do you hope to be an author for the rest of your life, or what would you say is kind of what does life look like for you moving forward?
Yeah, so right now I am full-time as an author, and I foresee that I would like to continue being a hybrid author where I
Hmm.
self-publish and traditionally publish, because I do like working with like a large publishing team that distributes
Yeah.
to bookstores and everything. And that's a fun time. But then sometimes when they're just moving too slow, or I feel like I don't have a lot of control over those projects, that's when I shift my focus to my self-published stuff, where I do everything myself and I get to make all the decisions. And then when that gets exhausting, then I shift back to traditional. So it's nice to have that
Okay.
balance. Um, and yeah, I foresee myself writing books until my brain goes. Um,
Oh, yay! Bravo. That's an awesome
yeah.
answer.
So I do have money in a retirement account. I do recommend everyone save for retirement. But it is interesting when I talk to other people, friends, and everything, and they're talking about one day retiring, and I'm like, I might slow down, but I don't ever foresee myself retiring from writing.
Right.
I definitely think how I do it will shift over the years. Maybe the amount of books will vary. Sometimes I do think, oh, it would be nice to slow down and really focus on this manuscript, because different books
Mm,
kind of need a different amount of focus. So it would be nice if I had enough, like, was making enough money to just feel set.
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but right now I'm making more than I was as a librarian, so that's good.
Well,
um,
that's
yeah,
That's awesome. Fingers crossed. Hopefully you get like a Netflix deal or something. I mean, I feel like
there
that
you go.
alone would be like the solution to any type of like, consistency of having to put things out. And like,
Hmm.
a lot of crafters in our space, there's like that like in maybe they don't even realize it as a content creator myself, there's always that kind of like feeling of I imagine you're on the internet a lot because just like the marketing and having to be there. Do you feel some sort of pressure like in this like content is king kind of world where you have to keep churning out content, or are you able to kind of like disassociate from that and like write at your own speed?
I I do think that right now, because of how much money I'm making off of my books, I do feel that pressure to
Mm,
keep marketing them to people, and being
right.
on, like, I make a daily TikTok that's promoting Claws and Crochet, and I feel like I need to be checking in on Instagram because there's a lot of readers on Instagram, and my with my publisher right now, I'm not what is called a lead title, which is the people that they put the most marketing money behind.
Mm,
So they do give me a lot of support, but I feel like I do need to be out in the world, out on the internet,
yeah.
telling people about my books. I've also been, like, the first few months of this year, I was doing a lot of traveling for events, which I do. I like to pop around to bookstores and visit readers and sign books and everything. But sometimes I'm like, it would be nice if for just a few weeks I didn't even go on the internet.
Yeah,
Like,
wouldn't
it
it?
just, right, yeah, but then and honestly, I could experiment with that and see if, like, my sales drop off, and I haven't yet because I am too nervous about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of a balance. And on my phone, I have one of those apps where before I can log onto Instagram, it makes me take a breath for 3 seconds and then it
Oh,
asks me, "Do you
really?
actually want to go on Instagram?" Because it can kind of just get addictive, and I'll like go on YouTube to research something for a book, and then I'm just scrolling, and I'm like, none of these videos are for the book. Why are you here still?
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
fall into just like the cycle of clicking each app for like 5 minutes and just over and over
Yeah.
just doom scrolling.
Yeah, it's, those little bits of endorphins, and it's like, no, just work on your book.
Yeah, definitely. Outside of like the negatives of like, just like the algorithms and stuff, do you like social media in the age of, or do you like writing in the age of social media? Like, does your writing kind of like go does your writing reflect how you kind of like post and stuff, or do you just see it as like a marketing tool, and do you like enjoy social media in overall like with your book marketing?
I I like some of it, and yeah, I would say it's a balance. It's a 50-50 situation. I love how um especially during the pandemic, TikTok just really exploded
Hmm.
reading. I feel
Yeah,
like,
that oh it did.
yeah, it was so many people were just talking about the books that they loved, and they're like showing off their bookshelves and just I feel like there was such a large influx of readership,
Mm.
and I think it has stayed. I think in the last, like, year or so, it's kind of shifted more to the marketing side than to the, like, authentic connection side. And I think that's kind of how social medias work, is that they'll kind of an app will pop up and people will do their best to communicate and post authentically, and
Yeah.
then people are like, okay, how can we use this for marketing? And it's because we need to, like, sell things. And so I do like that I have been able to connect with a lot of authors on Instagram. We, like, slide into each other's DMs. I do think that, like, I found a lot of new readers on TikTok, and I enjoy actually making the TikTok videos because
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
times, yeah, when it comes to, like, what social media you're on, it's really got to be something that you enjoy doing. So I have a fun time doing, like, the little voiceover videos. I'm not really good at, like, taking a nice aesthetically pleasing picture, which is like what you need for Instagram. So I do have a fun time on TikTok, and if I wasn't, then I probably wouldn't be using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really like when apps are in the point of their lifespan where you can, like, authentically connect with people.
Yeah, I guess I did know that TikTok kind of blew things up. It's so interesting that like your cell phone would like turn people into readership, because I know like book talk is like a big thing, and like even
Yeah.
when you go into like Barnes and Noble in the States, like they have like a whole like book talk section in their stores, which is like
They do. Yeah, yeah. And so I think it's been great in a lot of instances. I think it's also really helped self-published authors because yeah, a lot of people I mean, I want bookstores to continue going strong, and a lot of them are. A lot of romance specific bookstores are opening up all
Oh,
over the place, which is great for romance authors because we know like, oh, that's where our readers are going. But also, yeah, I think a lot of people got into ebooks and
yeah.
audiobooks, and so that's, I think it's kind of evened the playing field a little bit between self-published and traditionally published. And of course, I'm on both sides, so it benefits me in both ways.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And I'm really glad, since you are here for like some of the crafting stuff. It's awesome that you're able to like do all these things and still balance out being able to like do your crafts as well and feel so well rounded. I feel like it could be difficult if you were like pushed one way or the other. So, um
And
yeah, that is like so awesome. So it sounds like we actually do have some questions in the chat for people who might want to know. If you wouldn't mind me asking a few of these.
sure, yeah, go for it.
Um, let's see here. Uh, so people were asking what came first, crafts or writing. I know you gave like your, lead up into it, but like as a young one, like, and you were going with books, were you still crafting like during your your coming up years, or was crafting because you started writing?
That's interesting. I remember that I reading probably came first, honestly.
Mm.
Like my mom read to me when I was like a young kid, so reading was always there. But I do think that I started knitting before I started writing, because yeah, I remember
Oh.
my grandmother like gave me her knitting needles and a bunch of yarn, and she was trying to show me how to knit, and I was like, the way that you're doing it does not make sense to me, grandma. but but yeah, I actually think that I started reading first, and then I just started knitting because I wanted, to learn. It wasn't, yeah, in any way related to books or writing. Um, but yeah, and then when I got to college is when I really started writing, and I think maybe I would knit sometimes while I was studying, just again because it was something for my hands to do while I was reading textbooks.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then but one of the first uh, self-published authors that I wrote, or not that I wrote, that I really fell in love with, and who kind of introduced me to the like how to publish self-publish, her name is Penny Reed, and she has a series called Knitting in the City. And so all of her main characters are in like a knitting club together, and
Mm.
I think a few of them crochet. And so I've seen other books where there's like crossover between crafting, and I think I read that soon after I graduated college. So yeah, I feel like they've always kind of been entangled together.
That that is a clever way of saying it for sure. So like since you had such a history with knitting, excuse me. Since you had wait, what the heck? Hold on, I've just like lost my voice mid
Yeah, we can just do a water
conversation.
break.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we've both been talking. Um, since you've like had knitting so involved in your life, and crochet has been kind of like a more recent one, what made you decide to kind of like go all in on like the crochet aspect when it came to your Claws and Crochet book? Like, I feel like going knitting would have been like maybe like the easier route for you. Was it just like the challenge, or what was like speaking to you so much about that decision?
Yeah, I think um I was getting frustrated with knitting because I knitting, at least for me, and maybe people know a better way than I do because again, I'm still kind of like in the beginner era. Whenever I realized I had made a mistake with a knitting project, it was so hard because you have to, at least the way that I do it is that you have to knit backwards and undo all your process.
Yeah.
But with crochet, you can just take it out and pull it, and then you're good to go. And so I was like, oh, this is magnificent. And I think that I was really having a fun time with crocheting, and so I was just yeah, in the crocheting zone. And I wrote this book a few years ago. It was actually I gave this manuscript to my agent, and she shopped it around to big publishers, and they kept saying that they wanted that kind of alpha. They liked my writing, but they wanted that alpha werewolf. And then I was like, well, I think people will like it, so I
Yeah.
self-published it. And so
Oh, this one
yeah,
was self-published.
yeah, so this one was self-published. I actually published it on Wattpad first because
Oh,
I just I wanted to see if people liked it, and like there's a really engaged community on Wattpad. So that's like another kind of, I guess, social media-ish, I don't know, a web novel platform. And so people were able to read this for free for a while. It wasn't professionally edited at that point, but it was really nice getting like feedback chapter by chapter because I was just kind of like putting it out a little bit at a time.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so this I had like just moved to Colorado, and I was experimenting with crochet, and I was having a real fun time with it. And so when I was thinking of, and I did go back and forth because I was like, am I gonna, something that authors often worry about is, am I gonna get something wrong and then get called out on it by a reader?
Yeesh, that would be scary.
Yeah, and so I was like, I know a little bit more about knitting than I do about crocheting, but I was just having a fun time with crocheting, and I was like, I want her to be a crocheter, and so I hope that I don't get these things wrong. And I was like watching YouTube videos of people crocheting and like looking up terminology and everything and making sure that I was just referring to things in the proper way. So yeah, it was just kind of, that was the chapter of my life that I was writing it in.
That's awesome. And good on you for taking the time to educate. The knitting and just the fiber art scene in general is very inclusive and warm and welcoming, but they can definitely be a bit prickly when it comes to, technicalities between the
Yeah.
crafts. So good on you for doing your research for sure. Um, we have some people asking, how they can get your book and also like digest it. So is it digital and physical? And is there also an audiobook version, or how can people get their hands on your writing for this book in
Yes.
particular?
So it is available in all of those formats. So what I have done with Claws and Crochet is that I've published it what is called wide, which means that it is digitally available on pretty much every platform. So if you use Amazon, if you use Kobo, Barnes and Noble, um, anything like that, you will see Claws and Crochet there available digitally for your e-readers.
Nice.
Um, Paperback is going to be showing up on pretty much all of those retail sites too, because it is a print on demand book. So yes, this is the paperback of it. And
Oh, it's
so
thick.
yeah, it's a nice hearty read. And so it is, if you order it, again, you can order it on bookshop.org. Is, if you like to support local indie bookstores, that's a great place to order books. But again, it's also on
Mm.
Amazon, it's also on barnesandnoble.com. And then a cool thing about this book, so for those, a peek behind the publishing curtain, I self-published my books, the digital and the paperback, but I did not want to go through the hassle of hiring narrators. And so an
Mm.
audiobook publisher, they bought the audiobook rights to Claws and Crochet, and so they produced the Claws and Crochet audiobook.
Oh, let's
So there
go.
is a Claws and Crochet audiobook, and I believe that is available widely, but it is definitely on Amazon Audible. But I believe it's they've made it available widely. So yeah, if you like to listen, if you like to read digitally, if you like to read with paper, you can get it in all of those formats.
Okay, that's good to know for me as well, because I like went through the first chapter. I just have to I want to like get through everything, and it's like so inspiring to like hear you speak about it. Usually before I read anything, I always like to like watch interviews and stuff just to like, I'm a very like, I don't really separate the artist from the art person. I really like to like have it as like the full package, and being able to interview
Yeah.
you, I thought would be able to like enhance my like my experience with it. So I'm gonna go audiobook. That sounds awesome. Not that I can't read, it's just I
No, I love an audiobook. Yeah,
yeah.
I really feel like I upped my reading when I got on the audiobook train. And it's also you can ask your libraries to get it too. So
Oh,
if
nice.
you don't have the money to spend on a book, we love it when books are in libraries. So definitely ask your library to get it.
Cool. Yes. And we got to make the most of traffic. I don't know if you have traffic to live with, but I have a lot. So I will definitely take advantage of my time with that. Quick one is, are you right or left-handed when you are crocheting?
Um, I hold the hook with my right hand. Does that mean I'm right-handed?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then I'm right-handed.
Do you know if you are a knife holder or a spoon hold? Do you know the difference on those
I
ones?
don't know that I know the difference. Yeah, what is the difference?
So like spoon is like kind of coming down, like you kind of hold your hook like a, gosh, do I even have a, you kind of hold your hook
Oh, I'm
like a
definitely a knife
spoon.
holder then. Yeah, I don't do
I'm
it that way. I
also
do it.
I'm a knife holder as well. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, it's always interesting to see kind of like how people pick it up. And did you learn crochet just like via YouTube, or did someone teach you how to do it?
Yeah, I did it YouTube wise. I was just I had an antisocial dog. So I spent a lot of time in my apartment just like, okay, I got to hang out with my dog and what am I going to learn? So yeah, YouTube, I go there all the time to learn so many things.
That is awesome. And for any of your future stuff, since we are coming kind of to our end of our interview, is there anything in particular that you want to promote or give us like a small like insight onto maybe what's coming for those who are following you out after this interview or who have already been fans of your work?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I said, I am on both TikTok and Instagram, Lauren Connolly Romance. The TikTok is just going to be goofy videos, but if you want to actually know what's coming up for me, that's going to be
Mhm.
on Instagram.
Cool.
And yeah, book 2 in the Claws and Crochet series. It's actually the Wolves of Pine Falls series. It's coming out in June. I've
Oh,
just been
nice.
formatting it this week because again, I'm self-publishing it, so I put it all together. And then yeah, I got some other magical books coming out. The Monster Hunter's Librarian. So if me talking about working in a library sounded interesting at all, that's the next book that's coming out from a big publisher. So yeah, I've got a couple books coming out both from me and from a big publisher this year. And I do pop around the US, hopefully
Oh,
outside of the
really?
US soon, for events. I always post about those on Instagram too. So if you don't win one of the signed copies, but you would like a signed copy, I'm signing books in random places.
Nice. Do you have any plans for Oregon by any chance?
Not yet, but
Not yet.
I would love. I'm going to be going to Salt Lake City in
Oh,
a couple weeks, so that's like the closest yet. But I would love to do more west of the U.S. visits, so I'll put Oregon
yes.
on the list.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your time in Salt Lake. The Utah is another beautiful state for sure. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
might come away with some more story inspiration.
yeah, it's so awesome that your book gets to take you places too. Like, what a dream.
Yes, yeah, that is a really cool thing. Just being able to connect with people all over the country and the world.
Yeah, definitely. And the last and final question is, after this, what project will be on your hooks that you'll be working on?
I am actually working on what I am referring to as a pollinator fantasy. So
Okay.
it's a fantasy story that basically the magical aspect is that there are magical bees and there are magical bats. So
Oh,
yay
okay.
pollinators!
Yay, pollinators, the hive mind. They do a lot for our world. I don't think we can live without them. So,
Exactly. If you like, and see, I geek out on random things, so I'm into the podcast Bat Chat. So you can, if you want to learn about bats, just listen to Bat Chat.
good to know. Good information. Well, I think this is a good conclusion and good place to, your time is so valuable. I can only imagine how busy you are. So we really do appreciate you taking the time, even like planning last week. And I know that things didn't follow through, but thank you so much for coming on today and being able to offer up some of your time. I really do appreciate it. And I know our users enjoyed it as well. So, we'll definitely be plugging in your links and stuff into the community post. There are some already, but hearing that you're like on TikTok and stuff, we'll definitely get that over there as well. So, yeah, it's been an absolute honor being able to talk to such a distinguished author. Congratulations on all your successes and having a brain that can fire off on all cylinders like that. I am very jealous.
Thank you. And I am so impressed. Again, just to repeat, I'm so impressed with the designs I'm seeing so far in this challenge. I cannot wait to see what everyone comes up with. Everything that you're doing is better than I could do. Just knowing that. So don't be intimidated to put something up. I am very impressed so far, and I'm so excited to be part of this.
Well, glad to hear that. I'm sure you've maybe inspired at least a few people in here to overcome any type of writing block, and self-publish is such an awesome option that like exists in today's day and age. So glad to hear that you're taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a great time, and I'm sure we've got some crafters who also want to write, so definitely check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I'll be in touch afterward, and it has been a pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was fun. Thank you everyone for being here. I mean, I do think that first of all, everyone in chat, say thank you to Lauren for coming on by. It's not easy to do, it's like one thing to do an interview recorded. It's another to jump onto a live stream. So thank you to them for coming on and speaking with us and answering some questions off the cusp. It makes my job easier when they're so full of like good insight and knowledge and honestly just like know themselves. So awesome. That was a lot of fun. I will say, I do appreciate the folks in the chat trying to like reel things back. I did have to turn off the chat during the interview because there was a bit of spamming involved. So I do think that this is a testament that it's good that the Ribblr show is growing in the way it is, but I do want to make sure maybe in the future we are going to perhaps get some mods involved on the chat. So if you are someone who has had experience with modding live stream chats, you may be called upon from the Ribblr crew because yeesh. And I do want to set some not rules, but if you can, let's make sure that we are not commenting on my appearance. That would be great. I would appreciate that. That's more of a personal gripe. So everyone was super nice and kind about our interviewee. So at the end of the day, it was a good interview. Just want to make sure that chat, we do have some specific rules and guidelines to follow, as we do want to make everyone feel included and be able to read the chat, as this is a fun thing for all of us and we don't want anyone to kind of like, take away from the experience. So I appreciate everyone contributing as well. So yes, a lot of people. So it is a testament to how much the stream is growing. If you were here during the early days, it was like one message per like 30 seconds, and now I can barely keep up. The chat, no. No one's getting blamed or anything. This is just like a total neutral as the host. I haven't done a great job at like setting ground rules and stuff besides saying being respectful. That can look like a lot of different things. So that I will take responsibility for that. But also just for future reference for this stream and probably others, just don't comment on people's appearance. I definitely don't need to know how tired I look, as I get that a lot for some reason. So let's jump into some of the other stuff. So for those who trickled in throughout the show, let's go over some of the fun things and where we came from for this. So for the Ribblr, so this was all coming off of our monthly challenge. So right now we have our Claws and Crochet March challenge. We're teaming up with Lauren for it. So you can make something inspired by wolves, werewolves, or anything literature/book related. I'm gonna leave this in the Ribblr chat. Hello, Ebony, good to see you. So you can find that challenge if you want to get involved and win a signed copy if you are super impressed after that. I am going to have a sip of water and we're going to hear from Ribbit with the breaking news, and I'll be back in just a few moments. So give me a second and I'll be back and we'll see what the news is. This is from last week also, so if something's changed, that is why.
Vincent, Ribbot hopping in to brighten your weekend and share this week's headlines. A brand new Ribblr March monthly challenge has launched in collaboration with Lauren Connolly, inspired by her book Claws Crochet, featuring a crocheter heroine, which we absolutely love to see. Makers can create themed projects for a chance to win signed copies of the book. And even better, Lauren is joining the show today. Books, crochet, and prizes? That's a headline I'm happy to read. Pokemon Day was last week, and the crafting community showed up strong. Giant Pokemon projects are taking over feeds, oversized plushies, bold amigurumi builds, and statement pieces everywhere. Apparently, Gotta Catch 'em All applies to yarn Pokemons too. Around the globe, cinema screenings designed specifically for crafters are growing in popularity. These relaxed showings invite attendees to knit or crochet during the film, often with softer lighting and a community-friendly atmosphere. It's turning movie night into stitch night, and makers are loving the chance to craft together on the big screen. March is officially Conference Month. Major events like H&H in Germany and the Stitch Festival in London are bringing together designers, brands, and makers worldwide. In the US, gatherings like Sewing and Stitchery Expo, Stitches West, and regional fiber festivals are also drawing strong attendance. It's a big moment for connection and creativity in the fiber world. And finally, congratulations to Alyssa Liu on her gold medal. An incredible achievement and truly inspiring. I'll admit, Vincent, for a brief moment, I considered taking up figure skating myself. Crafting on ice? Still evaluating. That's all from the yarn world for now. Back to you, Vincent. Ribbit, ribbit.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ribbit. Yeah, Pokemon Day was sick. I don't know how y'all feel about those Gen 10 starters, but I am quite excited about it. And then, like I said before, I had an awesome Pokemon Day weekend, honestly. But yeah, the Olympics was super cool to watch with Alyssa. The hair is sweet. Yeah, Ribbit on Ice would be a good theatrical play, no doubt about that. So, I am going to be announcing a winner for our hold on, let me grab this. Yes, it is. We're actually going to do a let's see here. Love the gecko. Nice. That was originally my favorite one too, but I've really kind of grown to like the dog, Pombon. So I do want to say thank you everyone for, being involved in the, just like chatting and stuff, as respectfully as we can during the interview. Hey Vincent, have you heard anything about Gen chat problems? Not on it, but I don't know what Gen chat is. Okay, so we do have a winner for hold on. We do have a winner for the gem, and this one is picked out. So we do have one winner for the gem who will be gifted on Monday. And this is going to kind of blow up, so I'm going to have to close it. But the winner for this gem is Shiny Vulpix. So congratulations to Shiny Vulpix. Big shout out to them. They did a great job during the chat asking insightful questions and also trying to be the corgi that is herding the sheep. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shiny Vulpix, for trying to, make it all good and respectful during the chat. So big shout out to Shiny Vulpix for that. You'll get your gem on a Monday. Big bravo to them. Great community member. And then don't forget, we do have our Freebie Friday that is currently going on. So this is today only, so make sure that you grab this. You can find this in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So big congrats to them. Yeah. Oh, true. Pokemon Week was last week, so it's been a little bit. But if you're playing Pokopia right now, Pokemon Day is every day. And then I don't think we're going to be doing a giveaway today, but I do want to, or for this, but I do want to give a big shout out to Ribblr Fiber on the postcard for March. This is so cute. So if you want to find this postcard, all you have to do to get it is feed Ribbit every day, and you'll have a chance to spin the wheel throughout the month. I mean, come on. This is so cute. I think, yeah, for the pattern, if you want it to be exactly identical, you will need felt. Yeah. I know, it is so cute. So big shout out to Ribblr Fiber on this one. Looks awesome. No giveaway for it today, but you do have a chance to win it. And then we will be, and if you have, so you can get that for sure. And if you have been enjoying today's show, we do have a big week next week. We actually have a really big week next week. For any of you who were here, see here, like 6 months ago, we did have, I'm sorry, Brit Dub. It does go that way sometimes. Maybe we'll have like give a few away out next time. But if you were here last like 6 months, we had a really fun campaign called the Ribblr Quest. So every day there will be like different missions to do, and it'll be accompanied with daily streams next week. So, it'll be a lot of fun. You'll be seeing a lot of me. So we'll be having daily streams at the same time every day next week, from Monday to Thursday. So if you would like to participate, keep your eye out on the community section. And a lot of it is for the Ribblr Plus members. So this is one of those things that that's a great perk of having Ribblr Plus. I am going to leave this here in the chat. So if you want to, you can actually sign up for either a trial or an account for Ribblr Plus. Definitely worthwhile in my opinion. You can find that in the chat. You can see all the perks for it. So yeah, Ribblr Quest will be next week with the daily streams. You don't need Ribblr Plus to come to the streams, but I think some of the things on it, you will need it. But regardless, Ribblr Plus is still a cool thing to get. Your mom loves it. Your dad loves it. Your siblings, your pets, they all love it. So make sure you love it too. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. So keep an eye out on the daily community posts from Ribbit next week. I'll be here all day. Well, not really. It'll be like hour streams each day. So make sure you are finding me at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, it shall be a Gouda time. Some of the things, spoiler, you will be able to participate even if you don't have Ribblr Plus. I think there's some of it that will be available to people for like a week. So just keep an eye out. Keep that wallet book open, of course. No, I'm kidding. There is a free trial for Ribblr Plus. If you want to give it a try next week, that'd be a great time for the trial. Yeah, Ribblr Quests, woohoo. So shall be exciting. Wait, Vince, will that clash with UK school times? No, because at 12, it'll be your 8 p.m. Yeah, it's like a spring break one for whoever's on spring break. It shall be cool. It shall be chill. Even trill, perhaps. Flies come out. Yeah, you don't want to see my bank account either. I tell you what. So no worries on that. So, yeah. Well, moss galore. They attract like an open flame. So we're gonna call it good on today. We're gonna call this the end of stream. Thank you everyone for coming today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening to the interview. Any feedback on interview skills is always helpful. And yeah, so I will catch you all next week. It should be around 8 p.m. Lexi. Yes, it'll be the same hour as this live, Frog Girl. So have a good day to all of you. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. And I will see you Monday for another stream. So daily streams next week. I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, the more people that come shows how much of an appetite there is for live streams on Ribblr. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your enemies that you can find Vincent, aka Not Bad, as your Ribblr host all week next week. Yes, thank you so much, Utonia Unitoda Baya. All right, have a good one. Bye, Spring. Bye, Lover of Turtles. Bye, Carrot Top. Bye, Elizabeth Art. See you next week for a fun, jam-packed week. It shall be a good time. So I'll talk to all of you later. Bye-bye now.